Hi, Jim Van Zant, one of the pastors here, Carlisle United Methodist Church, sermon in 3 minutes. Thanks for tuning in. We've been doing a walk through the Apostles' Creed, that a famous creed of the faith that sets up the basic tenets of Christianity that we believe and profess. This past week, the phrase was, "And I believe in the Holy Catholic Church, the communion of saints," and that's where we stop. That is enough. I believe in the Holy Catholic Church. Now, there's been a lot of confusion, especially in recent years, about the word Catholic. Catholic means universal. The Roman Catholic Church just took that word, put a capital C in front of it, and made it part of their name. No harm, no foul doing that, but the word really means universal. Remember, it's all about what does the Creed teach us about our faith. And in that particular phrase, it teaches us that the church was meant to be universal. The church was meant to be for all people. At the time the creed came out, the world wasn't that way. Society wasn't that way. And here the church was to be a different place, a different gathering point. The relationship the people are to have with each other in the church, the Apostle Paul best described it as a family. That's the closest human relationship he could think of that would be like what the church is supposed to be. And indeed, there are many fellowships today that continue to address each other as brother and sister. Being part of a family has both its benefits and its responsibilities. And the benefits are of mutual encouragement and mutual support, no matter who you are, no matter your background or where you are from. The responsibility is to be an active part of the family. It's part of what the responsibility is of those who are in the church. That phrase, communion of saints, is somewhat confusing to some people. We commonly think of a saint as somebody who has gone on to glory. Somebody who has died is then made a saint. But in Paul's eye, in the New Testament theologian, he begins many of his letters to the saints. So clearly, saint to him was a term applied to the living. And what he was referring to are those who've confessed their faith and belief in Jesus Christ and were going on to sanctification, the theologians call it, which is simply the process of being shaped and molded to be more like Jesus. Those were the saints in his eyes. Oh yes, the ones departed. The writer of the Hebrews talks about the ones who've departed, whom we no longer see, who are in glory. And he writes in his letter to the Hebrews that they are in heaven cheering us on in our race. Gives this athletic kind of picture of a contest, and you kind of picture in your head people in the stands cheering us on. So when we talk about communion of the saints, we're not only talking about the relationship we have with each other as the living, as brother and sister, but there's also a sense in the church that our communion with those who are departed, have gone on to glory, is not over, is not separated by death at all. But in fact, they are in heaven cheering us on in our walk of discipleship. So we have this different concept about the communion of the saints. And every time we take that precious meal called communion or the Lord's Supper or the Eucharist, we are communing not only with God, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, communing with each other in a common meal, but we also recognize the important presence of those who are in glory right now, cheering us on in the faith. Remember that anytime that you have difficulty living a life of discipleship, you find it a little hard from time to time, going through difficult moments in your life, just remember there are people in heaven right now cheering you on in the faith. Thanks for tuning in. Have a wonderful day.